Welcome to Sports Talk with RKJ. I'm your host, Steve Risser, with my co-host, Justin D'Onofrio and Kyle Galuli. And the Yankees are on to the ALCS as they defeated the Twins. They swept the Twins 3 straight, led by Gleyber Torres, who had that big 2-run double in Game 1 and hit 417 on the series. Didi Gregorius had another huge series. We all know about that huge grand slam he had in Game 2. And the starting pitching wasn't that bad either. Severino pitched well on pitched pretty. I mean, going 4 innings now and giving him no runs is good today. Yes, but yeah, he pitched well
especially with the Yankees like to pitch in postseason.
Yeah. He pitched well in Game 3. Got out of that bases loaded jam in the second. And Tanaka was really good in Game 2. So the Yankees up 3-0. In their series, they're now waiting to see who they play, the Rays or the Astros, and the Yankees are in a really, really good spot right now.
Oh, yeah, and again, going in, I thought the Twins would be able to win one game, but again, the Yankees just outclassed them. The Twins really, they had the series was over in Game 3 when the Yankees got out of the second inning, bases loaded jam with nobody out. That was pretty much the series right there. Then they shut down the Twins' power lineup that they have. And they didn't do much, especially in Game 3, they made 5 huge defensive plays. I thought, Gleyber made a couple of nice plays. Didi in the 9th inning made that nice diving stop. So all around, the Yankees just played as good a series as you could ask for. They didn't really make any mistakes. Pretty much everybody too had good at bats. Like the one Game 1, Sand had that one bad at bat with the bases loaded, and he offered that 3-0 grounder and almost that dribbler, and he almost beat it out still, but. All around, the Yankees played as good a series as you could ask for, and that's huge going in. Maybe playing the Rays or the Astros.
I feel kind of bad for the Twins because I remember seeing a thing before the series started. Not sure what player on the Twins said we need to slay the dragon because at that point I think the Yankees beat them about 11, 12 games in a row. They're feeling excited. What they won, it was 101 games roughly. Yeah. Like they won over 100. So obviously they're a talented team. You're not a talented team, and you don't win 100 games. They play the Yankees 10-4, first game. Okay, rough start. We keep them moving. Then you get to Game 2. It's 8-2. First inning, okay, 1-0. Okay, you get out of that, and then the third inning. I mean, it just fell off the rails. So you're thinking, great, we're down 2-0 now to the Yankees. Okay, Minnesota, at least show some fight. Like that's what you would hope as a Twins fan. Okay, at least show some fight. Even if you lose 3-0, or sorry, you lose the series 3-0, show some fight. At least show that you want to be there and you're not just going to give it up and lay down and move on with life. They did to an extent. I think once, like you said, once the second inning, the Yankees got out of that situation. It felt like they almost kind of gave up. It was just like, your one chance gone, bases loaded, no outs. You have to get at least 1 run minimum out of that. Nothing. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, and let's just be real. The Yankees just own the Twins. I think the Twins are in the Yankees' head. To be honest, I think the Yankees are in the Twins' head. To be honest, it just happens all the time. I mean, remember, even during the regular season, they had that huge lead in Minnesota. We're looking to win that series, and then they gave that lead up and they ended up losing that series. I think the Yankees have just owned the Twins, and they've owned them for years. Yeah. And I mean, look at this Yankee team in the postseason. A lot of. I mean, Torres was good, Didi was good, Encarnacion was good, LeMahieu had a big game 1. Judge, it didn't have a lot of home runs or RBIs, but he hit for a high average. The only concern is Stanton and Sanchez in this lineup. I think they're going to have to step it up if the Yankees want to move on to the World Series and beat the Astros or the Rays.
And Sanchez's first game back too was Friday night from that injury too. So it seems like, and he had that nice 10 pitch at bat on Monday night too. So it seems like maybe he's coming back now and he's starting to get his timing down and everything. So I'm hoping now that Sanchez plays a lot better in the next series, and I think he will now that he's got some rest. But yeah, Steve, talking about the Twins being Yankees being the Twins' head. 16 straight times now the Twins have lost Yankees in the playoffs. 16 straight. And I did hear this stat yesterday. The Twins, I know they have 101 wins, but they did have the Tigers, Royals, and White Sox in their division too. So there's probably 14, 15 wins against all three that.
And that's a really good point, Justin. I mean, if you look at the AL Central, I mean, they had 2 of the worst teams in baseball with the Tigers and Royals. The White Sox weren't good this year either. And you look at the Yankees division. I mean, they had the Rays who are currently in the playoffs. They had the Red Sox who I mean, yeah, they weren't as good as they weren't the team they were last year. They're still a good team. They have the Blue Jays, and in the second half of the year, the Blue Jays were a better team because they got Kevin Biggio, they got Vlad Guerrero Jr., and they got Bo Bichette. So yes, I think the AL East this shows you the AL East is definitely stronger, much stronger than the AL Central. The AL Central might be one of the worst divisions in baseball, having the Royals and Tigers in that division. So yeah, it definitely shows you the AL East is much stronger than the AL Central.
Yeah, and I think another thing that shows that the Yankees are in the Twins' head. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was in 09 season, the last time they won a World Series, where they had like 3 or 4 straight walk-offs in the regular season. I mean, that was against the Twins too. It's just like, coming from a Yankees fan's perspective, I think the Twins believe that if anything, like if one thing goes wrong, kind of say like the second inning with bases loaded, no outs, and they're able to get out of it somehow, they're thinking, here it goes again. And you kind of get a loser's mentality. And that's in the playoffs, especially against a squad like the Yankees, you're bound for failure at that point. You need to keep it going, which, let's be honest, they weren't. Now, if you're the Yankees and you're thinking, okay, Rays or Astros, I mean, obviously you'd like to see the Rays. I mean, let's just be honest. 1, because of the pitching of the Astros, and 2, because of the hitting of the Astros. It's better than the Rays, although I don't know what was going on last game. They got shut down. Yeah. It wasn't pretty. It got a little dicey towards the end, but the Rays were able to shut it down and win. But if you're thinking, because I think with the Astros, they're like 3-4 against them during the year, and I think against the Rays it was like 12-7 roughly. I obviously like to face the Rays, but either way, whoever does win this, the Yankees have this advantage in terms of the other team has to grind out the series. Let's say if it is, Astros do win, Garrett Cole's going tonight, like you said before. Garrett Cole's not going to pitch to Game 3 in Yankee Stadium, where he's not the same god level Garrett Cole that he is, everywhere else. I'll take it, but so either way, the Astros or the Rays, I'm right now. If I'm the Yankees, I'm liking where we stand. And then obviously, I know we also have Yankees fans. We also saw the thing of Chapman with his hand in the celebration. I'm like, for the love of God, like, do we have to wrap everyone in bubble wrap? It's like, I'm like, I swear to God, if he broke his hand, I was gonna be furious, or even something where where he's not gonna be 100%, but like, thank God he isn't, because really, like, who's throwing a bottle of champagne? Whoever that happens needs to get pegged with a bottle. Like, stop throwing bottles of champagne. You don't do that. It's not smart.
The thing is, why? I know they won, but like, why do they celebrate after they won the ALCS? Like,
well, didn't they do the same thing after they won the AL East? I mean, I think that's what every team does.
They celebrate after every round and play.
Yeah, it's like we won the wild card, champagne. Now we got to go play the ALCS.
I don't.
Can you at least celebrate after the ALCS? Like.
Yeah, I don't mind after that and after the World Series, but after the ALDS, I don't know.
Yeah, because imagine like in football, it's like, yay, we won the wild card. Now we got to go play in the divisional round. It's like, no. It's like, I think maybe baseball needs to calm down on that slightly.
Exactly. I mean, they're just celebrating after every round.
Spending so much money on champagne.
Crazy. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. They're celebrating after every round. Yeah. It's just crazy. It's nuts. It's nuts. So now that the Yankees have advanced, we got to see who they're going to play in the ALDS, and that's between the Astros and the Rays. This has been a surprising series. It looked like in the beginning that the Astros would completely blow the Rays out, but then the Rays end up winning 2 straight games, which has been big. I mean, they were down 0-2, and they've been led by Tommy Pham and Willie Adames. Jack Greinke was absolutely terrible in Game 3, and in Game 4, the Astros elected to pitch Verlander on short rest, and that was a huge mistake by the Astros. Verlander wasn't good at all last night. The Astros end up losing 4-1, and now they got to play a decisive Game 5 where they have to use Garrett Cole, where he can't pitch in the first 2 games of the series if they play the Yankees in the ALCS. So this is big for the Yankees and big for the Astros too, that now that they have to use Garrett Cole in Game 5. Yeah,
Verlander was not his best self at all. He was probably 70-80% Justin Verlander. And the other thing was too, like, AJ Hinch kept them in there. Like, I know they were bullpenning to eat up a lot of innings in Game 3 because Zach Greinke got lit up in Game 3. He gave up 3 home runs in 4 innings. So it sounds like, too, for a Yankee standpoint, too, is even if the Astros do come out of this, AJ Hinch is not too confident in their bullpen that they're going to be able to shut things down here. So a huge key, I think, for the Yankees too, if they do play the Astros, is just get those starters out of the game. But in that series, the Rays, they're top 5 in TV marketing. So they have the fans, and we finally see the fans actually coming out to the stadium because that place was rocking. I've never seen Tropicana Field rocking like that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're a little bit too young. There was a time where the Rays made the World Series in 2008, and the Rays made the playoffs for a stretch there where the Trop was rocking in the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe the only other time I could think about it was when Evan Longoria hit that home run against the Yankees to get them to the playoffs. Other than that, like you said, the place is loud.
Yeah.
I want to say, to go as far that it had Verlander shook because he's a veteran. He's been around forever. But, maybe they didn't have him shook. Maybe he just had the Astros in general kind of like, whoa, this isn't what we were prepared for. Like, it was a little bit... Like, they went in thinking it was going to be easy. Voila, it's not. You're win or go home game.
Yeah, and, Yankees are loving that. But it's actually been a really... Game 3 and Game 4 were really good. I thought the Rays were pretty much done. I thought, I was hoping maybe they could win one game.
Yeah, at least not to get swept.
Yeah, they got the second one, and now, it's going to be tough to get against Garrett Cole, as I think it's Charlie Morton.
Tyler Glasnow. Yeah.
It's Glasnow. So, the thing is, Glasnow can only give up 2 or 3 runs max because Cole is only going to give up 1 or 2. So, every pitch is going to matter. It's going to be one of these low-scoring, pitcher duels. But I think the Astros will take out the Rays. I think it's going to be 3-2 or something like that.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I'm hoping it's the Rays, being a Yankees fan. But I think after the first inning, Adrian Hinch was probably thinking, oh, God, Verlander, just don't completely, go down the tubes and we have to, start pitching our bullpen from the second inning, type of scenario. Kind of settled down a little bit. And then in the, fourth inning that, pitched that, Adams, he just curveball hung it right smack dab down the middle. And when you even saw it hit one of the rings that was out of, where it's not technically in play, but it's ones where it still counts as a home run. I mean, that shot was up on me. You saw Verlander, he's probably thinking okay, I'm getting settled a little bit, and you kind of saw his body language. He gave up that home run. He's just going there, just really that pit, that's a pitch that a veteran like that shouldn't do, especially in that big time game, in game 4. But it's gonna be a tough fall game. I think it's gonna be. We could see a similar score, like a low scoring game, like 5 to 6 total runs scored. But like you said, Justin, it's gonna be a pitcher. So I mean, Garrett Cole, if you're the Rays, you gotta bank on at least. Even if you don't score runs, get the pitch count up for Garrett Cole. Get it up because then you can bring in the bullpen. I feel like so far, really, the top players for the bullpen of the Astros really haven't gotten a ton of work. Even someone like Ozuna. Has he even been in the series?
I think he might have been in game 2.
Well, than that, it's he hasn't really got any work. So if he comes in, he's not exactly, maybe on a normal routine. He's kind of been sitting there, possibly getting cold. You might like that, but it's going to be a good game. It's going to be fun to watch.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk about the NL playoffs later in the show, but now we're going to transition to the NFL, and we got a matchup Thursday night between both of our teams as the Giants head up to Foxborough to face the Patriots, and the Giants are coming into this game really, really banged up. I mean, they won't have Saquon Barkley. They're not gonna have Sterling Shepard. They probably won't have Evan Ingram as well.
I don't think they're having Wayne Gallman.
Yeah,
and they're not gonna have Wayne Gallman. So John Hillman and Elijah Penny will be the starting running back. So the Giants are coming into this game really, really banged up.
So who's the wide receivers?
It's going to be Golden Tate, Darius Slayton, and Cody Latimer. So, I mean, the Giants are coming into this game banged up, and it's going to be a really, really tough night for the Giants. The Patriots are a 17-point favorite. I think they cover that spread because I think Brady against this Giants defense moves the ball with ease. I think the Patriots, just like last week, will be able to get that run game going with James White, with Rex Burkhead. I think the screen game is going to be the key because the Giants are so banged up at linebacker. I mean, they're down to their fourth or fifth string linebacker because you could say Tate Davis or Alec Ogletree aren't going to play. Ryan Connolly's out for the season. Last week they had Nate Supar playing linebacker. That was a complete disaster because Dalvin Cook was destroying them in the screen game.
Do you have the Chargers medical staff?
I know it's not good. So yeah, they got. I think Brady's a huge day in the screen game. I think the Patriots are pretty much going to do whatever they want on offense. And for the Giants, I think they're going to struggle against this Patriots defense because of all their injuries. They're not going to have a running game. They're probably not going to have Shepard or Ingram, so they're going to have a lot of problems running the ball. And I think this isn't the old days of Pats Giants. This game will be a blowout. And I got the
Lord, do I hope so.
And because even the game you guys played against us 4 years ago was a really good. I mean, the Giants should have won that game. Landon Collins dropped an interception.
Yeah,
but this game won't be close. Tom Coughlin's not walking through that door. Eli Manning won't be starting. So this game will not be close. I'm saying the Patriots win it 35-13 Thursday night.
I got the Pats winning this one 24-3. It's supposed to be raining all day tomorrow, all during the game. So again, I think the Pats are going to have to establish. I think both, now the thing is, the Giants get behind, they're going to have to throw the ball. But the Pats rushing attack it was a little bit better last week against Washington. It hasn't been really great.
Devlin's a big loss.
Yeah, so it really has been. And usually you don't say that about fullbacks anymore. But for the Patriots offense, it is a big loss. If they can establish a run game, I think. But if how banged up the Giants are, they should be able to, because they did it pretty well against the Redskins defense. I think Daniel Jones wasn't horrendous last week. Against the Vikings.
He missed some throws though. He had Shepard open twice for 2 touchdowns and he missed them. So he missed some open throws. But it was a tough defense he had to play against.
And he didn't play terrible. I think now this is his first game in the rain. We'll see, in the NFL. We'll see how he does. But I think Giants are really going to struggle offensively. Not having Ingram, not having Gallman, not having Barkley. It could be a long night, I think, for the Giants offense.
Definitely. The one problem I see for not maybe particularly against the Giants because the pass rush isn't even to the level of the Redskins, but you saw that pass rush against the Redskins. They were ugh.
Yeah, Brady got sacked 4 times. Yeah,
it's pretty ugly. That first half in particular wasn't good. It was like you kept getting chances, and it was like, okay, field goal. Even the interception by Colt McCoy that he threw, I'm trying to whoever it was, like right before halftime. You should get a touchdown out of that. Field goal. Yeah. Mike Nugent missed the first kick, and I'm just like, and then he got it together. I'm like, thank you God, because I'm just tired of kickers missing. So used to from earlier years where it was just almost automatic. But if you're like Giants, you come into this game, you're so banged up. You're in Foxborough. It's like, how do you even have a chance? Like who are you gonna throw the ball to? Real Golden Tate? Meet Stephon Gilmore. The other guys, what are you gonna do? Like double team them? Like the run game? It's just like I want to feel bad for Jalen Jones because I think hopefully what people don't think is that okay, if he ends up having a bad game, which it seemed like it's to me that's likely that could happen, that people would be like, oh, see, he's what we thought. He's not that good. It's like, but the guy doesn't have weapons. I mean, trust me, I hate the Giants more than anyone. I'm not even going to say that about the guy because you have no weapons. Yeah. It's like, he at least give the man I guess they're all hurt. I understand that. At least give the man a weapon, like at least Evan Ingram. I mean, something. I don't know who you're going to throw the ball to. Defense isn't good for the Giants, especially, I mean, what they're giving up 130 yards per game rushing. So hopefully Sony Michel can finally get it going. I mean, he did against the Redskins. Before that, it was like nothing. And now against Redskins, you finally got it going. Similar to last year, it didn't start off that great, but hopefully, he can get it going. And I think the Pats will win. I think it's going to win big. I think about a 37-13.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Giants' defense, they really don't do anything well. They don't stop the run well. They don't get great pressure on them. The strength has actually been them getting some kind of pressure on the quarterback, but they don't get great pressure on the quarterback, and their secondary hasn't played well all year this year. So, yeah, the Giants really don't do anything well on defense, and the injuries are definitely what's going to come back to hurt the Giants' offense on Thursday night.
It could potentially be a thing where if the offense, is struggling because of no weapons, it can be a similar thing to the Redskins game last week where maybe defense was, stopping them for a little bit, but if you keep giving the offense chances, your defense is eventually going to wear down, no matter how good it is.
We have an NFC South matchup in London this week as the Panthers play the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are trying to sweep the Panthers, and I really like this matchup for the Buccaneers, especially going up against Kyle. I picked against the Panthers the last 3 weeks and been wrong, but I'm going to do it again. I'm going to pick against Kyle Allen again. I think the Buccaneers, really like the way they stopped the run. I think they're going to be able to contain Christian McCaffrey, and I think Jameis Winston, who has played better since Bruce Arians has been his head coach, is going to make plays to Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. The Panthers secondary is not that good. And I think the Panthers and I think the Bucs have a little bit of success running the football with Ronald Jones and Peyton Barber, and I think the Bucs win this game. And I got the Bucs win it by a touchdown. I got 24-17 Bucs in London on Sunday.
I got 23-17 Panthers. Now, hopefully both these same teams don't make the mistake the Bears did, because if I knew that, I would have took the Raiders flying out on Friday to London, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I've heard the Jags did that. Because you could see they were giant jet lag there. But
isn't it like the time change too?
It's
Isn't it like
7 hours?
Yeah, it's like,
so I don't know what the deal was there. So hopefully, Carolina got there early enough. I like the way Carolina played. I think he's been running the offense better than Cam Newton. And as you saw in that Thursday night game back in week 2 or whatever, they did nothing. McCaffrey only had 37 rushing yards. I think it's been better with Kyle Allen at quarterback, and I think they're able to get some success.
Justin
I think
was right about
Carolina.
that.
Yeah.
Because you need at least an accurate quarterback. Obviously, he's not the remotely the close of the athlete that
Yeah,
can.
oh, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Really, no quarterback is. But you need some accuracy. It's like Chase Daniel over Trubisky. You see the offense moves a little bit just because he's solely accurate.
Mm-hmm. And I think it opens up now McCaffrey to run the ball this time against Tampa. So I think the Carolina gets a revenge right here, and I think they take down the Bucs 23-17. But yeah, Jameis Winston's been playing a lot better since Bruce Arians. He's done a good job with them. But I just think Panthers will get the revenge. I don't see him getting swept by Tampa.
Yeah, I have the Panthers winning. I'd say this is probably one of the more close games this week. I think one of the tougher ones, but I do have them winning 24-21. And just because, I mean, right now, I think Christian McCaffrey right now, he has to be top 3 for MVP. I think it's right now, Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, the stats that this man put up last week, and it's a Jags defense, which is pretty good. I mean, it's a little weakened, obviously, no Ramsey and no Telvin Smith? Yeah, I think that was a linebacker that he's taken.
Telvin Smith, yeah.
Yeah, he's taken some, leave for, a year. He had 176 yards rush on only 19 carries. It wasn't like 30 plus for 2 touchdowns. It's pretty good. Also threw in 6 catches for 61 yards and a touchdown. Total, the man had 3 touchdowns and over 200 total yards. Now, if you're coming to the, over to the Bucs, you need to play a lot better, obviously, than week 2. But again, Cam was a quarterback. Kyle Allen wasn't. The only issue that I could see really, because I think the Panthers can definitely get a pass rush on because and force him into interceptions and completions, bad throws, because that's kind of Jameis Winston's tendency, and also they have a good pass, especially up the middle. I mean, Jameis Winston isn't running for anyone. He ain't that fast. Now, with the Panthers, surprisingly, they don't have a great secondary, but they're only giving up 220 yards through the air, though, which is shocking because you think someone like let's just look at Tampa. Tampa's given up over 120 yards more through the air, and Carolina's secondary is just terrible. But if you're the Panthers, just give the ball to Christian McCaffrey. Give them the ball until it fails, and once it fails, mix in the play action. Start getting Kyle Allen, the rhythm throws, short throws, give him a rhythm, progressive offense from there. Get pressure up the middle on Jameis Winston. You'll win the game.
It should be a good game. It should be a really, really good divisional battle on Sunday. We got an interesting game with Deshaun Watson going up against Patrick Mahomes as the Texans head to Kansas City to face the Chiefs. Mahomes is banged up. He hurt his ankle in the Sunday night game against the Colts. But I think this game is a really, really close competitive game. I think the Texans cover, and the big reason they cover is I don't think Mahomes is going to be 100%, but I still think Mahomes is going to put up points. I think that he's going to still have a good game. I think that the Chiefs will get pressure on Deshaun Watson. Even though Watson will move the ball, I think the Texans will have success running the ball with Carlos Hyde and with they'll have success with Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson. Sorry about that. We'll have success with Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson. And I think that the Chiefs will get pressure too without Eric Fisher. But at the end of the day, Andy Reid owns Bill O'Brien. And I think that this is a really, really close competitive game. But I got the Chiefs beating the Texans 27-24 in Kansas City on Sunday.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs winning 34-27. Yeah, I could definitely see the Texans covering this game. Depending on the health of Patrick Mahomes, because he was really banged up, and that Colts defense is they're missing what 5 or 6 defensive starters.
They were the youngest starting defense in the league.
I wouldn't be surprised. That was a young secondary, and I know Mahomes was banged up, but they held their own. And one of the problems was the Chiefs got away from their running game after McCoy's fumble. They really did not run the ball much afterwards, and it was something that you kind of had to do when Mahomes was kind of banged up.
And McCoy always holds the ball weird. It's like instead of like kind of I feel like tucking away like this. Not the camera. Hopefully you can see it. If you tuck away like this, he holds it like this. You know what happens? An NFL player's going to see that, think, "Oh, Merry Christmas to me," and smack it out of there, like you saw on a screen pass, fumble.
Yeah. So, I just but I think the Chiefs bounce back. I think Mahomes feels woefully better, and I think they put up some points against the Texans D, which has been okay. Hasn't been great, but I think going to Arrowhead, I don't see them losing too shy. I see the Chiefs playing a much better game.
I mean, as a Patriots fan, I hope the Chiefs lose because it's going to help against home field advantage down the road. But I do think the Chiefs are going to win. I think it's going to be 38-34. I think it's going to be you're going to see high scoring game. You're going to see big plays after big plays. Especially when you saw Will Fuller last week had about 3 touchdowns. I think it was just a hair over 200 yards, if I'm not mistaken. If you're the Texans, what you need to do is just get that run game going. I mean, the Chiefs right now giving up 155 yards rushing per game. You want to keep that offense off the field, run the ball, clock management, kind of like what the Patriots were doing against them.
The Colts did that last week. Marlon Mack ran the ball for 26 times.
Yeah, I know that was just insane. You just pound the ball and you keep that offense off the field with a young quarterback. They have the tendency to. Okay, we haven't been on the field in a while. We got to score, and they have a tendency to force stuff. You force stuff, interceptions, incompletions. You can get out the field. Force them into bad decisions. But if right now the Texans last week, I don't think Deshaun Watson got sacked at all, which is kind of surprising because the Texans offensive line, as long as Deshaun Watson's been on the team, hasn't really been that good at all. Especially when they made that trade for Larry Tunsil, people were kind of. They're trying to, destroying them. Kind of like you were needing a left tackle. You got one, but you paid so much. It kind of paid off last week. Is that going to continue? Is it not going to continue? If you're the Chiefs, you got just mix in the run game. See if Mahomes is healthy. Don't come out him gunslinging and running all over the place doing no-look passes. Mix in the run. It helps with play action. Then you have to, force out to play the run. Markel Hardman, deep, touchdown. Look, an idea. You need to do that. Start mixing it in a little bit more. Make it more, not so one-dimensional of every time we're going to pass. I know we're going to pass. You know we're going to pass. The fans know we're going to pass. The announcers know we're going to pass. Mix in the run, Andy Reid. That's what you need to start doing. I feel like his whole coaching career is kind of like the problem he's fallen into over and over again. He gets too fixed with passing, mixing the run.
Exactly. Good point, Kyle. So we got an NFC matchup in Minnesota as the Eagles travel to the site where they won their Super Bowl, U.S. Bank Stadium, to face the Vikings. I know Kyle didn't like that. To face the Vikings on Sunday, this should be a really competitive game. And I think Minnesota's a tough place to play, but I think this is a really, really good matchup for the Eagles. The Eagles are they're first in the league through 5 weeks in stopping the run. So I think they're going to contain Dalvin Cook, which means they're going to get pressure on Kirk Cousins because the Vikings' offensive line is not good. The one mismatch in the game, the advantage the Vikings do have in the game, is their 2 receivers, Diggs and Thielen, against the Eagles secondary. So they might make some plays there, but I think Cousins is going to make a mistake in this game, and I think Carson Wentz is going to manage the game and hold his own against the Vikings defense. I think they'll get a little bit more of a running game with Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders. I think Wentz will make enough plays to win the game, and I got the Eagles upsetting the Vikings in Minnesota 23-20.
Yeah, I got the Eagles win this one 21-17. The Eagles have been playing so well lately. I know the Jets are, also banged up, but they got 10 sacks last week against the Jets. I don't care who you are, but when you get 10 sacks in one game, your defensive line played really, really well. So I think they get pressure on Cousins. And the Eagles' rushing defense has been pretty good so far. So I think they slow down Cook, and I think Kirk Cousins has to do some stuff and beat him through the air a little bit. And I don't think he's going to be able to do that. I know the Eagles are kind of baked up as a secondary. I heard Deshaun Jackson is probably not going to play, which is kind of a big loss for the Eagles. But I still think they go in there and win it. I don't trust the Vikings offense.
I'm gonna pick the Vikings. I had them 28-24, and I'll say this is the one game where I'm not feeling. I'll be honest, I don't feel great about it because of the the Eagles stopping the run. They're very good against it, and obviously Kirk Cousins is known in big games. Not to play that great. I just think that the Eagles secondary is it's so bad. You have Adam Thielen, who kind of called out Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins kind of admit, okay, you're right. I need to whether that was just for show to make it look like everything's all good. Where was that? Whether it wasn't, who knows? But you saw last week, Adam Thielen had a big time game. So hopefully, that continues against it and start mixing in stuff on there. Something's not right there. Because even though whether he does want out of Minnesota, where it's like 1 week he says, he kind of like winks and it's like, yeah, I want to stay. Well, meanwhile, he doesn't. Then next week he says, yeah, he wants to, stay. It's so mixed match. You need to get that involved. And I think if you could get at least Diggs involved in, enough, you can start getting the tight ends involved. Then they have to more guard the pass a little bit more and respect that a little bit more. Then you can start mixing in Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook might have a struggle the first half. I think maybe if you can just start getting a pass game going, then the second half Dalvin Cook will have a big game. But I think it is going to be a close game. I think it will be a 4-point victory for the Vikings.
The Saints try to go to 4-0 with Teddy Bridgewater as they travel to Jacksonville to face Gardner Minshew and the Jaguars. And I think in this game, the Saints are going to have success running the ball with Alvin Kamara and Latavius Murray. I think Bridgewater will be able to manage this game again because I think their defensive line that is really, really good. Their Saints front seven that is really good is going to be able to get pressure on Gardner Minshew. The Jaguars' offensive line is below average at best, and they're going to be able to contain Leonard Fournette. So I think that the Saints are going to be able to have success running the ball. The Jags might move the ball, but I think they're going to kick field goals instead of touchdowns. And I got the Saints going on the road and winning this game. They're 4th straight with Teddy Bridgewater. I got the Saints beating the Jaguars 23-16.
I got the Jags. I can't get bet against my boy Gardner. I got the Jags winning 23-20.
But bet against Uncle Rico?
Yeah, I love Gardner. And it seems like the Jags found a quarterback. And now, going into the season, who thought the Jaguars would be 6th offensively overall, 10th in passing?
How about DJ Shark?
Yeah, and him too. Like, he's came out of nowhere. So, and it's been the incomplete
maybe in the offseason he finally worked on, route running.
Yeah.
Because before it was literally just run straight and we'll throw it to you.
Yeah. And then defensively, they're 24th overall, 18 against the pass, 25 against rushing. I think everyone thought that'd be flip-flop coming into the year. Maybe a little bit better offensively, but without Ramsey, it does hurt. What's going on there?
Yeah, because you have AJ Boulay, and who's the second corner?
Yeah, I don't even.
That's the problem.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be tough. I think I'm not feeling too confident, but I think the Jags bounce back at home. And Teddy's been playing really, really well. He's 3-0, and it's not like they played 3 easy teams. I know they had Tampa last week, but he beat Dallas and he went to Seattle and won. But I think this week Jaguars bounced back. They didn't play very well last week. Gave up over 500 yards of offense. I think they bounced back, get the win.
I think the Saints are going to win this game. I think it's going to be a 24-20 victory. I think Cameron Jordan he's just going to be able to get I think he's going to get pressure on Gardner Minshew. And I just think that defense, in terms of Jacksonville's defense being lacking because of no Ramsey and obviously no Telvin Smith, you give time for Sean Payton to scheme up. He's going to be scheming up a million things for that second corner. It doesn't matter what it is. He's like, okay, the second corner, he's on that guy. We're scheming up something. He's going to have plays after plays after plays to get that going. And with having Alvin Kamara, who are you going to put on Alvin Kamara? That's a problem. Are you going to put Myles Jack and Alvin Kamara? I mean, he's probably as athletic. Speed, I think it's relatively close. You do that, okay. Then who are you putting on Jared Cook? So it's you got so many weapons, and Teddy Bridgewater is playing his way into a pretty big contract coming in the offseason. Because most likely, assuming he was probably going to end up leaving, the Saints to go to a team. If you're Jacksonville right now, like you said, maybe you found a quarterback in Gardner Minshew. I don't think anyone would have ever thought of that. I don't even think Gardner Minshew thought that was going to happen, but he's playing pretty good. He's shown to maybe. Not DJ Chark is an elite weapon, but for right now, he is the number. I think the number.
He's their number one. Yeah,
he's their number one, and he's progressing and potentially, something pretty good. I mean, so far through 5 games, he has 27 catches, 485, and 5 touchdowns. pretty good. Fournette averaging over 100 a game, although he only has one rushing touchdown. I'd like to see more, but right now you're playing good. Like you said, it's flip-flop. You thought defense would be elite, offense would be progressing to get better, but not to this level. Flip-flop. So it is going to be a good game, but I think Teddy Bridgewater, shockingly, somehow is going to get the Saints to 4-0 with him in a 4-point victory.
We got the game of the week this week, being sarcastic. The
toilet bowl.
The winless Redskins head down to Miami to face the Dolphins, and
0-0 tie.
It's been a crazy week for the Redskins firing coach Jake Gruden, which I think we all expected was going to happen after not refusing to play Dwayne Haskins and going in and embarrassing him in the second half against the Giants, putting him in there unprepared. And then last week, instead of sticking with Haskins, he goes with Colt McCoy. They get crushed by the Patriots. Gruden loses his job. We'll see who Bill Callahan starts. I mean, knowing Callahan and Gruden are close, I wouldn't be surprised they will go with Colt McCoy again. But I think in this game, the Redskins' defensive line, the strength of this team with Ryan Kerrigan, with Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and Montez Sweat control this game. I think they get pressure on Josh Rosen. I think the Redskins offense does enough in this game with Colt McCoy. I think it's a close game, but I got the Redskins getting their first win over the Dolphins 17-13.
I get the same score and same result. I get the Redskins win 17-13. Can we just say that loser pretty much solidifies the first overall pick? I'm not going to say the
well, it's either that or the Bengals.
Yeah, actually, in Bengals are pretty bad too. But I think they play each other. Miami plays
in week 16. Yeah.
Oh god, that'll be another ugly one. But
especially at that one, because both teams are literally going to be like, you might see first down punts.
Yeah,
in those games. I mean, I do it if you're one of those teams.
It may be the tank for Tua Bowl, that one. This one, because the Redskins already have Haskins, I don't think they'd go for Tua, but.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. And Bill Callahan, well, two interesting things. First, he took over now for Jay Gruden. He was the intern when John Gruden left for Tampa, when he left Oakland, or fight for one or the other. So I think that's kind of interesting. And he also is the one that calls all the running plays for Washington. So I feel like maybe that's a little bit, do they not? Because I think because they have a passing coordinator. So I felt like that maybe was a little bit interesting too. I don't think we're going to see Dwayne Haskins. And then there was a coach's interview the other day saying somebody, I forgot who in the organization, they don't like Haskins. So that was also like, why we,
Well, it was kind of like how Jeff Fisher with Vince Young. Jeff Fisher didn't want Vince Young. The owner wanted Vince Young. It was the same exact thing with this. And that's like, because if you're Dwayne Haskins and he's essentially, it's made public that he didn't want you. You walk into the facility, you see him. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
I mean, you're thinking something. You can't say it, right now. But he's thinking like, you didn't want me. Why am I here? I mean, didn't he say he wanted to be a New York Giant the whole time?
Yeah.
They drafted Daniel Jones, and you saw the camera on him, and he's just like.
Yeah. So it's been tough it's been very tough for both teams. But I think Washington's a little bit better than Miami. Miami has had the extra week. But Miami's so bad. Washington played a pretty good first half, I thought, against New England. They held their own.
Yeah, I was surprised.
And then, they kind of lost in the second half, got blown out. But, hey, they played hard for the first half, so I'll take the Redskins.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Redskins as well. I legitimately think we could see like a 3-3, 7-7, 10-10 tie. Would not surprise me. But do you think the Redskins are going to win 17-10? If you're the Dolphins, you're giving up yards. You're giving up points. You're not scoring points. You're not gaining yards. The Redskins, at least they have something going for them. They have a nice little pass rush going, especially with you get Montez Sweat his rookie year. He's shown potential. I mean, that one sack he missed on Brady, almost had a clean shot at Brady, and Brady just hits him with the little duck and dive and right around him, and Montez Sweat's standing there like, where'd he go? I mean, it's Brady. The guy can't what? You should not miss that, but he did. I mean, like right now, there's some Redskins fans I know, and they've said that Dwayne Haskins really isn't going to be playing. They don't really want to start him. They're not sure when to start him because like the former head coach didn't want him.
I heard they said so many where they said too they're not ready to start him for another 2-3 years. They don't think he's like that. That he doesn't know the playbook well enough. He doesn't know how to. Read a defense, and Rex Ryan said he was talking to him. He knew everything. Rex Ryan is shocked. So
yeah, I mean, I literally think the Redskins right now might be the most dysfunctional team. I mean, I've seen in sports. Period. I mean, it's so bad. I mean, the thing is, to me, why not start Dwayne Haskins? Because let's be honest, in the past let's say 5 to 7 years, name a rookie quarterback that has failed other than Paxton Lynch.
Not many at all.
Like literally none. I mean, even like someone like Trubisky who hasn't had a ton of success.
At least they got to the playoffs. They won the division last year.
He's had some form of success. The only one that's literally outright failed has been Paxton Lynch. At least start.
And he was like a low first. He was picked like 20,
like in the
20s.
And it's like just like you drafted this guy. At least you have at least a weapon with Terry McLaurin. At least you have something.
And Terry McLaurin played with him at Ohio State.
Yeah, it's just play the guy. You're not going to see anything in him. If he's your quarterback of the future by not playing the guy.
This would be the week 2, I think. You're going up probably against the weakest defense in the league. See how he does.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why they shouldn't play Dwayne Haskins. They're wasting their time playing Colt McCoy or Case Keenum this week.
Like it doesn't make any kind of sense, because I think even with at least you can give the Dolphins this. They're actively tanking, and everyone knows it. At least they're having a direction of, okay, we're going to be terrible. We want one of the quarterbacks, I'm assuming probably Tua, and that's what we're going for. At least you have a direction. The Redskins' directions are here, there, that way, down there. They're everywhere. You're so confused. I think like Redskins fans, they seem like, from the couple that I know, they're very passionate. They like their team no matter what. And it's the Patriots were at their stadium, and they said it felt like a home game for the Patriots. You lost the fans. That's not good.
Not at all. So we have an AFC North matchup in Baltimore this week when the 0-5 Bengals travel to Baltimore to face the Ravens. And I think that the Ravens are going to have a ton of success in this game with Gus Edwards, with Mark Ingram, with Lamar Jackson running the football. I think with Matt Judon, they're going to get pressure on Andy Dalton. I think this game is a blowout. I think that the Ravens blow out the Ravens blow out the Bengals. And I got the Ravens winning big. I got them winning 31-13 over the Bengals this week.
I got them winning 34-17. The Ravens right now are second overall in the rushing offense. Bengals are 31st in stopping the run. So, again, there's a story right there. The Bengals are missing Joe Ross and AJ Green, which are two of their top wide receivers. So, Dalton's in a struggle. Mixon hasn't been able to run the ball great. He did a little bit better last week, I thought. So, again, I don't think they're going to have much success. I think Lamar Jackson's going to have one of those games where he had back against the Dolphins. Maybe not as good as the Dolphins, but against the Dolphins. And their week 2 game against Arizona, they just have a ton of success.
Yeah, I also have the Ravens winning. I had them winning 31-16. And I think it's exactly for what you just said. The run game. I mean, they're averaging 192 yards. The Ravens are of rushing offense. And the Bengals are giving up 167 yards rushing per game. I mean, that's just brutal. It's just going to be Mark Ingram all day, read options mixing and Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar in particular, passing-wise, is going to have a big game because they're not going to have to pass. If you're able just to run for 5+ every play, just keep doing it over and over and over again. And I think you're going to see maybe a turnover from the Ravens. That's how the Bengals are going to get some of their points, because other than that, I don't really see how you're really going to do it. But I think it's going to be an ugly game for the Bengals again, and another victory for the Ravens, and they'll go to 4-2.
We got a good game in Cleveland as the Seahawks head to Seattle to face the Browns this week, and you got the Seahawks coming in at 4-1, Browns 2-3, kind of a mess right now. But I do think this game is going to be a really, really good game. I think that the Seahawks are going to have success running the ball because the Browns have had a lot of issues stopping the run. You saw that Monday night, so I think Rashawn Penny and Chris Carson are going to have a big games running the ball. I think Russell Wilson, who's played great this year, is going to have another big game, and I think on the flip side, the Browns won't be able to run the ball with that much success, but I think this is the game where Odell Beckham, who there are a lot of trade rumors out for Beckham, has a really big game. I think him or Jarvis Landry definitely go for over 100 yards because the Seahawks secondary is not good at all. I think Baker Mayfield has a good week this week. He hasn't been playing well, but I think he has a good week this week. And this is a close competitive game. But in the end, even though the Seattle's traveling into the Eastern time zone, I think they get their second win traveling to the Eastern time zone. And I got them beating the Browns 34-27 this week.
Yeah, I got Seattle win this one 28-24. I don't trust the Browns. I don't like the Browns right now. But Baker, that was an absolutely embarrassing performance on Monday Night
That
Football.
was just pathetic.
8 for 22, 100 yards, 2 picks. It was just... And then,
Feeling dangerous.
yeah, and then on the first play of the game on defense, he gave up an 83-yard rushing touchdown. And just like they didn't even want to be there. They got punched in the mouth, and they just kind of just sat back and just got absolutely destroyed. I think you get a better effort because they're at home this week, but I'm just, Russell Wilson's got 12 passing touchdowns so far, no interceptions. Nobody's really been talking about Russell Wilson. It's been all, still.
He might be one of the most underrated QBs in the history.
Yeah, because he's a great QB. I mean, he's an MVP candidate right now.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't really make any mistakes. Yeah. How many yards?
Although on a goal line in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but that wasn't him. That was Pete Carroll, yeah.
I know.
He's thrown for over
a friendly check.
14,000 yards already this year. I just think he's just going to tear this. Well, not tear up, but I think he's going to have a big day against this Brown defense that's really kind of struggled so far. And I'm going to take Seattle to go east and get the win.
Yeah, right now, if you're the Browns, I think the next 2 games are going to kind of define your season because they face Seattle, then they have a bye week and they go to face the Pats and Fox.
They have to beat the Seahawks. Yeah. But the thing is, the division's bad, so they could potentially lose and still be in it.
Yeah, because right now, if you drop to the Seahawks, you're going to 2-4,
and the Bengals and the Ravens will probably be 4-2.
Yeah, and most likely you're going to go to going to Foxborough. You're going to lose, and then you'd be 2-5, and then after that, you had to face like the Broncos in Mile High, which it's never easy playing Mile High, no matter how good or bad that team is. And you got to face the Bills. That's a tough defense, and then after that, you start getting some easy games after that. But right now, going against like Seattle, I mean, like Russell Wilson, he's just so good. DK Metcalf is kind of showing he's giving a little something because, I think people in the beginning of the season in the draft, were like thinking the DK Metcalf is this physical freak specimen where his route running isn't that great. How is he going to translate to the NFL? He's had some good spots right now with Russell Wilson. And after that game last week with Cleveland, I mean, it's just god awful. It's bad. It's terrible. It's all around. It ain't. That's embarrassing. That's not like you lost a close game. Okay, we lost by a field goal. Okay, and last time field. The game was over after that run. That was by Matt Breed, I believe it was. Yeah. It was just over. And right now, you're the Browns. You're giving up 150 yards rushing so far. In the Seahawks love running the ball. Chris Carson, maybe actually mix in Rashad Penny. Maybe we'll actually see sighting of him. And Russell Wilson obviously can move. So I don't see how they're going to stop the run game. And that's going to keep Cleveland off the field. And they're going to have to start forward stuff. Right now, Baker Mayfield, 4 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. That's all I got to say. Seahawks by 8.
Yeah, and if you look at the Browns right now, they're thinking of trading Odell Beckham. I think they're really the Browns just don't have no identity. What kind of team are they going to be? Do they want to be a run first team? Are they going to be a team that's a pass first team? Are they going to win with Baker Mayfield throwing the ball to Odell Beckham? Or are they going to win the games with Nick Chubb running the ball? The Browns just have no identity.
It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse after week 8. They get Kareem Hunt back. What else are you gonna like?
At that point,
you're gonna have another mouth to feed.
At that point, though, you got to be come on. Once they get Hunt and Chubb in that backfield, they got to be a run first team. They absolutely have to be a run first team.
You would love to think so. That Freddie Kitchens would be smart enough to realize.
But the problem is they might have to cater to Odell Beckham, and that's going to be the issue.
Because right now you need to just on offensive wise, it's just get the ball to Jarvis Landry. He can be the reception 10 reception a game. Odell can mix in the big plays down the field off play action. Pound the ball with Chubb and Kareem Hunt once you get him back. But right now, it's you're just forcing it to Odell too much. Listen, you have a top talent. We understand that. Teams know that. They're going to guard that. Don't force it. Common sense. Please.
Exactly. So we'll go to the 4:00 games, and the Cowboys head up to MetLife Stadium to face the Jets this week. And this pick is going to surprise a lot of you guys. You guys are going to be surprised with who I pick in this game. We looking at the Cowboys. They're on a 2-game losing streak. Dak Prescott has definitely struggled the last 2 weeks, and I think the struggles might continue for Dak Prescott. He might not have his 2 tackles, Lyle Collins and Tyron Smith. I think the Jets, even though they haven't been good at all. They haven't really done much well. The one thing they have done well is they've been able to stop the run. They're 7th in the league in run defense, and they are getting CJ. They might be getting CJ Mosley back this week. So I think they contain Ezekiel Elliott. One player we know they are getting back this week is Sam Darnold, and I think that the Jets, looking at this team, Le'Veon Bell is still a top back in this league, even though he struggled. But now having Sam Darnold versus Luke Falk is going to be like night and day. I feel like with the Jets, I think even though the Jets' offensive line is bad, I think Sam Darnold is going to play a lot better than Luke Falk did.
Is he going to be 100%? That's the thing.
That's going to be the key. That's going to be the key. But I think they're going to get, because the Cowboys have not been as good this year stopping the run. You saw that last week with Aaron Jones. I think Le'Veon Bell. I think he goes for over 100 yards. So that's going to set up play action for Sam Darnold. They are going to get Chris Hearden back to their tight end, and I think this is going to be the upset of the week. I think at home, the Jets upset the Cowboys 24-20 to get their first win of the season.
You know, it would not shock me. I am going with the Cowboys.
It'd be a typical Cowboys kind of thing to lose to the Jets.
Yeah. But I'm very nervous. I don't like picking Jason Garrett, because as we saw last week, just Dak Prescott just made some horrible decision making. Come with those interceptions, you throw it right to package. Like, dude, you'd play for the Cowboys, you know, right?
yeah.
But again, Aaron Jones this time, I think because it's Darnold's first game back. I don't know how healthy he is. I know the Cowboys pass rush hasn't been great, but they gave up 10 sacks last week, the Jets did.
One shot by DeMarcus Lawrence to the ribs. How is Darnold going to react?
Yeah, it's his first week back. I don't know how much weight he lost, because I know I know you usually lose a lot of weight when you have mono. So I'm a little bit afraid. And I think if they play this game next week, I definitely love the Jets' chances a lot more. I'm going to go with the Cowboys winning this one 27-17. I think they play a little better. And I'm worried, too, without CJ Mosley. I know he's questionable. And I think they have him back. They can definitely cover this game. But I think Dak bounces back a little bit. Again, I'm not too confident in him the way he's been playing the last couple weeks. But I think he does enough, and the Cowboys get a win.
I have the Cowboys winning 31-20. I would love for the Jets to win this. I would.
Even though you're a Pats fan,
I'd be giddy like a schoolgirl. Like I would love it, because I got some Cowboys fans I know that are gonna be served a full plate of something. But right now, like kind of like you said, if it's the next week, I need to just see like Darnold. If someone's clear to play, it doesn't mean they're 100%. And when you're coming off a mono, and they said just in the first week alone that he had it, that he lost 5 pounds just in that by itself. So you're just losing that, and not even that, you're just having the strength and gaining that back. I think that's going to take a couple weeks, and you do face someone like DeMarcus Lawrence. Like I said, one good shot to the ribs. How is he going to react? Like, because even if that is 100%, the one problem that you could potentially have mono. But even though he was cleared, so hopefully they did that. You're hoping for like Sam Darnold's health, that the Jets medical staff did their job, is that your spleen can become like enlarged. So if he gets hit, his spleen could literally go boom and explode, and that's obviously not good. You need no organs exploding. But if you're the Jets, hopefully you can start mixing, and like you get Le'Veon Bell going, showing what he was with Pittsburgh. Get Sam Darnold going. If I'm him, just get quick passes all day. Just get him just in a rhythm. Even if you don't win this game, just to get him in a rhythm for potentially for next game and the rest of the season. But I just think right now that Zeke is just too good right now. I think he's gonna be able to get a lot more yards off the Jets, on a kind of a consistent basis. And if you're Dak, even though Dak played just god awful against Green Bay, who's covering Amari Cooper on the Jets? What is Jermaine Johnson still on the teams for some reason?
Yeah, he's pretty much bench right now. Yeah, all that money.
So it's like whoever gets he gets put on him, burnt like toast. Michael Gallup, if he plays, like no one guarding him. Like I just don't really see how they're gonna guard all the weapons. I think after a while, like this could be kind of like a similar game to how when they played Dolphins earlier in the year. The first half they kind of struggle a little bit, and then the second half the Cowboys go boom, and that's when they ultimately separate from the Jets and win the game.
We got an AFC matchup in Denver as the Titans travel out to Mile High to face the Broncos this week, and I think that the Titans control the run game. I think Derrick Henry has a big day on the ground. I think Mariota makes a couple plays, and I think that the Titans get pressure on Joe Flacco. And I like the Titans to win a close one. I like the Titans to upset the Broncos this week, 23-17 in Denver.
Yeah, I get Titans 17-13. Denver played pretty well that week against LA. They played well against Chargers. They finally, they didn't blow it at the end of the game either. They got up very quickly, 20-0. Kind of saw that to that. Defense played better than it has been. Everyone thought that was be Sean Poi. It hasn't really been great. They finally they're up to 5 sacks now, so they're starting to get a little, get into the quarterback a little bit more. Mariota still no interceptions. I know he's only thrown 8 touchdowns, but he hasn't made that mistake yet. It may come this game because Denver defense is pretty good. But I think, Henry does enough, and I think the Titans hang on in this one. I think they get the one 17-13.
I have the Broncos winning by a single point. I have them winning 21-20. I just think it's because with the playing, like I said, playing Mile High is just different. Because obviously with the altitude, are the Titans gonna be able to adjust to it? I'm not gonna lean on that. They are. I'm gonna lean that towards they're not gonna be able to adjust to it like right away, and that's gonna be the detriment towards the end of the game, and like could be gassed, and the stamina's not going to be there. I do think that Von Miller's going to get pressure on Mariota, and you'll finally see Mariota's first, interception. Like you said, it's surprising he hasn't thrown an interception yet, because normally Mariota's been play has lent itself towards, interceptions and mistakes. So far, he hasn't, which I'll give him credit. I mean, I'm all for you getting better and not forcing interceptions, because sometimes they were pretty ugly. But I do think Denver is gonna win by a single point. I think I wouldn't be surprised if it's a last second field goal. I mean, that seems like so far it's been the story of the Broncos season is last second field goals. Now it'll be in their favor and they'll make it, and I think last second field goal they'll win 21-20.
We have an NFC matchup in Arizona as the Falcons travel to Arizona to face the Cardinals. And I do my preseason predictions, and there's not one team I could have been more wrong about than the Falcons. They have been
right there with you.
Yeah, they have been a complete mess this year. Their defense has been absolutely horrendous. Their offensive line has been bad. They can't run the football at all. It's all really been Matt Ryan to Julio Jones. That's pretty much really the only thing the Falcons have been successful doing all season long. And I think that continues on Sunday. I think they have trouble stopping David Johnson. I think Kyler Murray is a big day. And I think they have trouble protecting Matt Ryan too. I don't think they get the run game going either. I think that Chandler Jones and Terrell Suggs have big games, and I think the Cardinals get their second straight win. I got the Cardinals beating the Falcons 28-24 this Sunday.
Yeah, and I know I wasn't at that show that day, but I think I too had like the Falcons on like 10 or 6, 11, 5, something like that. So I'm right there with you how wrong I've been about the Falcons. And I think, Arizona at home, I think they get it 34-28. Kyle Murray, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, hasn't been great, but this Falcon defense gave up over 500 yards. Deshaun Watson threw for 426, I think, for like 5 touchdowns. He just absolutely torched them, and you're just going to see a lot of passing again from this air raid offense. David Johnson, they're incorporating a little bit. Could have a big game because Atlanta D's just been so bad. I think it'd be very high scoring. I think Atlanta will get some points, but it's pretty disappointing. Dan Quinn, his job's
that seat's getting hot.
Yeah, very hot, very quickly.
I think the Cardinals are going to win 27-23. I just lost faith in the Falcons. I mean, they had talent. You should be up there with like one of the better teams in NFC in my eyes. You're 1-4. I think the Cardinals are going to get their second win. I think, has any team fallen apart this quick after a Super Bowl loss? And just think about it back to the Super Bowl against the Patriots. You're up 28-3. You blow that lead. Patriots win the Super Bowl. After that, what have the Falcons done?
I mean, they did win a playoff game the year after. They were pretty good the year after, but the last 2 years they haven't been good.
Denver, after Peyton Manning retired, that maybe they've been pretty bad.
Well, it's like, at least the thing is you needed to find a quarterback. I mean, the Falcons really haven't had. Obviously, they haven't had to find a new quarterback. You still have Julio. You got another weapon in Calvin Ridley. Mohamed Sanu's still there. Austin Hooper's still there. Dante Freeman still there. Your defense still there. You're 1-4. I see you going to 1-5.
Yes. We got a really good NFC West matchup in LA this week as the Niners travel to Los Angeles to face the Rams, and you got the Niners who are the surprise team at 4-0. The Rams a surprise, struggling at 3-2. And I think looking at this game, though, I think this is a game that the Rams need to win. So I think they're going to be able to get pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Kyle Juszczyk is going to be a loss for that 49ers offense. They use him in the screen game.
He's out 4 to 6
weeks. He is outside. Him and James Devlin. I know the fullback's kind of extinct in the NFL today, but him and James Devlin are the top 2 fullbacks in the league, and they're
might be the only 2 fullbacks.
I know, and ironically, they're both out too. So I think that's going to hurt the Niners running game a little bit that they don't have Kyle Juszczyk, and it's going to force Jimmy Garoppolo to make a mistake or two. And I think Jared Goff makes some plays to Brandon Cooks and Cooper Kupp, and I think this is a really, really close, competitive NFC West battle, but I got the Rams winning 24-23 over the 49ers.
I got the Niners 24-20. I love the way they're playing. I think they're averaging exactly 200 yards rushing. So I think they're able to get it done on the ground game. I think Matt Breida has a nice day. Tevin Coleman. I think they get the Niners get Jared Goff to make some mistakes. We've seen Goff make a lot of those. He's at 6 or 7 interceptions.
Yeah, 7 touchdowns.
7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. You got that huge contract as well. I see the Niners coming here getting the win. I think the Niners are contenders. Their best starts too since 1990 at 4-0. And you know what the Patriots record was that year? 1-15. So it's been a long time ago. Oh. So
that was 1990, right?
Yeah, 1990. So I'm gonna take the Niners. I think Garoppolo does enough on the road. They get the win. Yeah,
I'm with you, Steve, in terms of the Rams. They need to win this. Again, this is another game that's going to define their season. Are you going to start, regressing, back to, not last year, but 2 seasons ago, where you were a good team, but not a Super Bowl contender? I think in most people's eyes. And I have the Niners winning it by 3 points. I had them winning 31-28. I just think right now, I think I saw on Pro Football Focus, if I'm not mistaken, the Rams' offensive line is like one of the worst in the league, if not the worst.
They've really trended downward. Whitworth's getting old. They lost Roger Stafford and John Silver retired. That was the big thing when I did my preview. Was the big reason why I think the Rams were going to take a step back this year. It's definitely been the biggest reason the Rams are taking a step back.
Yeah, and then you have this pass rush for the Niners, which you have about 4 or 5 deep of excellent pass rushers, especially with Nick Bosa had a phenomenal game against Baker Mayfield and the Browns last week. D Ford can obviously rush the passer. Especially he needs to if you get a massive payday. And with the run game, I mean, like you said, they're averaging 200 yards a game rushing ball. That's not 2019 NFL football. 2019 NFL football, spread the ball, passing. So teams, I think most teams aren't built to guard the run like that. Especially, it's just like iPhone, just run the ball all day. Where it's like two tight ends and you have a fullback in there. Let's see, obviously with you check being out how if they're going to get a fullback or who they're going to use in that spot. It's going to be interesting. But I think that Shanahan's just too smart. You saw some of those did you guys see that 4th and 1 play they had against the Browns? Where I think they had like 2 running backs in the backfield and they like motioned in Marquise Goodwin like behind the quarterback and some weird shenanigans going around, and then it's just a little run up the middle for like 5 yards first down. That guy, that's next level genius in terms of offense. I think they will win the game. Good game, but they will win the game.
The Steelers travel out to another game in LA this week. The Steelers traveled to LA to face the Chargers this week, and I think this is going to be a tough game for the Steelers now that Mason Rudolph could be out, so they might not be down to their 3rd string quarterback. But the Chargers were very unimpressive last week. They couldn't get the run game going with Melvin Gordon. They can't stop the run.
If the Falcons didn't exist, this would be the most disappointing team.
Yes, the Chargers' offensive line is absolutely terrible. They can't stop the run either. But I think in this game, with the Steelers having a 3rd string quarterback, and Phillip Rivers will put up some points against that Steelers secondary, I got the Chargers winning the game 24-13 on Sunday Night Football.
I get the Chargers winning this 27-24, so I think the Steelers are going to cover. I've seen Devlin Hodge play a little bit in college. She's from Stanford University down in, I want to say Alabama. It's Alabama or Georgia, one of the two. Ran the air raid offense. He's got a pretty good arm. And he wasn't terrible for what he was 6 for 8 with like 70 yards. For what he was pressed into, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrendous. And the Chargers, I just can't predict the Chargers. It's like 1 week they look like an actual football team. The next week they just, like last week, they didn't even show up to play, it looked like. So I just don't, what Charger team shows up? Are we going to get the team that looks like a playoff team, or are we going to get the team that wants to go 5-11 or 6-10, something like that. And I think the Steelers hang in there. It's a tough loss, like being the Ravens at home. But what happened to Rudolph and all that? You lost by a field goal.
How's that not a penalty? By the way,
I thought it was.
Did they actually call a penalty?
No, because I think he got hit in the ribs.
Well, he did get hit like square on like the button, like whether he got hit right in the jaw. That guy got hit, was instantly knocked out.
You can see him fall, yeah.
And then the cart breaks down.
Yeah.
Because of the NFL. We can't afford a working cart.
Yeah. But I think
somehow.
I think the Chargers bounce back, play a little bit better, and get the win at home.
Yeah, I think the Chargers are going to win 24-10. I just think it's just going to be ugly because I think the Chargers defense is good, but at the same point, like you said, the whole team is just inconsistent. Like you said, one game they're kind of like a playoff team, like how they were last year. Next time they're looking like a 5-11 team. I think right now, if you're the Steelers, you're on your third string quarterback, and with that, defense from the Chargers going to get that pass rush, I just don't see where the Steelers are going to win. I think it's going to be relatively an ugly game overall. I think definitely an ugly game for the Steelers, and I think they'll lose by 14.
We got the Monday night game as the Lions travel to Green Bay to face the Packers. And you'll know the culture has changed in Detroit with Matt Patricia if they can win this game.
Or at least play good in the game.
Yeah, because the Chargers in this game
the Packers.
My bad. The Lions haven't beaten the Packers with Aaron Rodgers since 1990. They've beaten the Packers the last 2 years, but without Aaron Rodgers. So they really haven't beaten the Packers with their starting quarterback since 1991. And if they could win this, say they could win this game, that would be a huge win for the Lions. And the Lions have played well. They almost beat Kansas City a couple weeks ago. So this is going to be a tricky game, but for the Packers. But I still think they win it. I think the Packers win it. I got the Packers beating the Lions 27-20 in Green Bay this week.
I have the same score as you, 27-20 Packers. I think they kind of struggle in the secondary. The Lions are 30th right now in pass and coverage on defense. I think Rodgers is able to have some success. In the line, they've been playing teams really, really tough. I just think going to Lambeau Field Monday night, Aaron Rodgers, and they technically have an extra day too. I know the Lions have had the bye; they're coming off the bye week, but I don't see Aaron Rodgers losing the Lions at home. I think they win by a touchdown.
Yeah, I have the Packers winning 26-20. I just think it's because I think right now you're starting to see that offense start. It's not to the elite level yet, but you're starting to kind of see it gel, mix in the play action off of the run game. It's gonna be interesting to see if Devontae Adams plays. How healthy is he gonna be? Is Darius Slay just gonna be put on him all day every day if he does play, which would be a smart idea if you're the Lions. But right now, I think both teams really need to do is run the ball. As you saw that game, Aaron Jones, he had 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's just insane. An insane stat from him against Cowboys, who had a pretty good defense up until that point. Who knows? Maybe for the Cowboys' sake, it's a 1 game problem. But right now, the Packers on defense. Obviously, the run game is their weak point on defense. They're giving up 138 yards. The Lions are also giving up 124 yards. I think you could see a lot of running the ball, which would be, I think, smart thing for both teams' offenses. But I do see the Packers winning a close 26-20 victory.
We'll now go on to the National League. We started the show with the American League playoffs. Now we'll go on to the National League playoffs. We'll start with the Braves and the Cardinals. This has been just a wacky series. I mean, it started in Game 1, especially with the bullpen. It started in Game 1 where the Braves had a 3-1 lead going to the 8th inning, and their bullpen gave up 6 runs in the last 2 innings. And then the Cardinals bullpen almost gave it up. The Cardinals ended up winning that game 7-6.
That was bad.
Go to Game 3 where the series was tied, and the Cardinals were 3 outs away with Carlos Martinez on the mound. Dansby Swanson and Adam Duvall get 2 big hits to give the Braves the lead, and the Braves end up winning Game 3 to go up 2-1 in the series. Then you go to Game 4 when the Braves had a 4-3 lead. We're 4 outs away. Yadier Molina ties the game with a base hit off Shane Green, and then with the game tied at 4, Martinez comes back. I mean, Mike Schultz goes back to Carlos Martinez. He pitches 1 shutout inning, and then the Cardinals end up winning that game in 10 innings. And now here we are, Game 5, and this should be really interesting. You got Mike Foltynewicz against Jack Flaherty tonight, and this should be a really interesting, close, competitive game. But I think it's going to come down to the bullpens, and I'm going to go with the home team. I think the Cardinals might be winning late in the game, and I think their bullpen gives it up. And I'm going to go with the home team in this game. I'm going to go with the Braves, and I got the Braves advancing to the NLCS for the first time since the 2001 season. I picked Braves in 5 before the series, and I'm going to stick with Braves in 5.
Yeah, I got Braves in 5. I picked them to win in 5. Still got them winning 5, and it just seemed bullpen just cannot hang on the leads. And then Marcell Ozuna he's really played well for the Cardinals this postseason, or so far in the NLDS. He's got 3-4 home runs so far, and the big thing for the Braves is Freddie Freeman's only batting 125. I know he's coming off the wrist injury, so I know he didn't really rehab at all. They kind of gave him last week off because they already clinched and everything. So I know he's still trying to get back, but they really, really need him tonight. And if he could execute, have a couple of good at-bats, the Braves definitely have a good shot. And I think the Braves will pull this one at home. I think Fulton-Evans won 7 shutout innings last time he was on the mound in the series. And I think he shuts down the Cardinals again. And I think the Braves win this one.
Yeah, I think the Braves are going to win as well. Just because, like you said, Fulton, which I just probably butchered
Fulton-Evans,
yeah, there you go. Thank you, because I just butchered his last name. My bad. I think he's going to have a similar game to how he did in the first game in the series. Obviously, like you said, Justin, he had no runs at all, 7 innings pitched. Obviously, a phenomenal start, especially in the playoffs. I think this game is just going to be fun to watch because, like you said, both bullpens so far really have not been able to keep it going. So whether Cardinals have a 3-run lead, let's say, whether the Braves have a 3-run lead, either way, it's going to be fun to the end. It's going to be a good game, which you want to see with Game 5s, Game 5s, Game 7s. You want to see exciting games. You don't want to see blowouts, obviously, unless you're a fan of one of the particular teams. But it's going to be a good game. I think Braves will win this game in a good game. I wouldn't be surprised we see, come back from behind whatever team wins, but I think Braves will win this one.
We got another Game 5 in the National League, and that's tonight with the Nationals and the Dodgers. And you got Walker Buehler, who was great in Game 1, facing Steven Strasburg, who's probably been out. He's been outstanding this postseason. You saw the way he pitched in relief in the wild card game against the Brewers, and then he pitched really well in Game 2 against the Nationals. He's been the one really carrying this Nationals team. He is the reason why the Nationals still have a chance in this series. I think this is a close, competitive game, but I think it's a low-scoring game, but I think it comes down to the bullpens. And I'm going to take the better bullpen. The Dodgers got the better bullpen, and that's why I'm taking the Dodgers to win at home, to win in 5 games. I got the Dodgers advancing to the NLCS to face the Braves.
Steve, you hit it. Steven Strasburg has been their best player. He's the one that's gotten him here. So I'm taking the Nationals. I think Walker Buehler, I know, went 6 shutout innings in game number 1, I think it was. But I think Strasburg doesn't know. I think he keeps them in the game, and I think the Nationals finally get over the hump and win a game that, win an elimination game. I know it's on the road.
It'd be the first time they get to the NLCS. If they win tonight, the first time they get to the NLCS in team history. I mean, if I'm not sure, counting the times they've been the Nationals.
Yeah, with the Nationals.
I don't think the Expos made it to the NLCS either. So I think it'll be the first time in team history they make the NLCS. And you look at the Nationals in the NLDS, they can't get out of it. They're like the Cowboys of baseball. Yeah. They cannot get out of the NLDS. If you remember 2012, when they had that lead over the Cardinals, they blew that game. 2014, they lost to the Giants. 2016, they lost in 5 to the Dodgers at home. 2017, they lose to the Cubs in 5 at home. So this is the 5th time in the last 8 years they've been to the NL. They've been in the NLDS. They've lost all 4 times. This would be their first NLDS win if they win tonight. They finally get over the hump.
Yeah, I think they do. And I know most of their losses have been at home too. I think they go on the road. I think they do not. I think they're riding the momentum. I think Strasburg pitches out of his mind tonight. He's been there the longest tenure right now, the Nationals. I know he could be a free agent up this season. I think he has the game of his life. I think he shuts down the Dodgers, and I think the Nationals knock him off. Soto's been playing pretty well. Rendon took big hits. This team, they finally won a big game at home too. I would thought last year or 2 years ago they would have lost Game 4 after falling behind 2-1. They battled back, and I think they battled back again. They won Game 5.
I have the Dodgers winning this. I just think it's because the Nationals bullpen is just, even though the Kelly Jansen for the Dodgers has been shaky this year, the rest of the bullpen has not been to that. It's not like, I wouldn't say like it's elite, like kind of like the Yankees, but it's solid. The Nationals bullpen has just been an issue everywhere. So I just think that's just going to be an issue. Like, I think Strasburg is going to go 6 to 7 innings, and he's going to have a phenomenal game. But I think ultimately that bullpen is going to blow it for the Nationals in the long run. If you're the Dodgers, you need to hope, if Kelly Jansen has to come into this game, hope he has at least a 2-run lead, because I wouldn't be surprised at all if he gave up a run, and after that maybe he might be able to tighten down, or maybe they just go to someone else. But if you're the Dodgers, try to have at least a 2-run lead if Kelly Jansen comes in, because like I said, he's been struggling. And game 5 pressure, win, go home, is he gonna be able to handle the pressure and not completely blow it? Same thing with the National bullpen. I don't have a ton of faith in their bullpen, so either way it's gonna be kind of like how with the Braves and Cardinals game. Comes down to the end, it's still gonna be exciting no matter what the lead is for either team.
We'll wrap the show talking college football, and we'll start with the Red River rivalry between Texas and Oklahoma. This should be a great game between these two teams. And it was a great game last year that Texas won in the regular season, but Oklahoma was able to beat them in the Big 12 championship game. It's very likely we'll see this matchup again in the second week of December, but I think this is going to be a great game, just like last year. I think the teams are going to go back and forth, up and down the field. Jalen Hurts has been playing great. Sam Ehlinger has been playing well, but I think Jalen Hurts has been a little bit better than Sam Ehlinger, and I think that's going to be the difference. And I'm going to go 45-38 Oklahoma over Texas.
Yeah, I got OU winning this one. Very high scoring. I got this one at 42-38 Oklahoma. I think Texas right now is so banged up in the secondary. I think their top 2 cornerbacks are hurt. They're giving up 325 yards in the secondary. Texas, that ranks 126 out of 130 in the country. You're going up in Jalen Hurts. We saw what Joe Burrow did against their secondary. I think it could be the same thing. But since 2013, this has been when they're in Dallas, this has been a 1-score game every single time. Besides the Big 12 championship game last year, which I think Texas even scored a late touchdown to get it to 11. I think it's still another close one. It always is. Even when Charlie Strong was at Texas, they had those couple of rough years. It was always a close game. I think Texas knocked them off one year. This is always one of the rivalries that always lives up to the hype, it seems like, every single year. I know some of them don't. This one always does. This one's going to be an absolute shootout like it always is. I just think Jalen Hurts does it more because of Texas defense. Texas has been good against the run. So if they can somehow slow down Jalen Hurts and, they may be able to slow them down the running game. But I just think Jalen Hurts right now is just playing so well. Oklahoma did have a slow start like Kansas, but they woke up late in that second half. I think OU gets a win at home or in Dallas. Not at home.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma's going to win it. I think it's going to be a 1-score game. I can see about a 7-point victory for Oklahoma. Like you said, I mean, offensive wise, Oklahoma, passing wise, they're lethal. 355 yards per game. Rushing the ball, they're lethal. 288 yards per game they're gaining. That is just insane, because what you want to take away the run, they'll pass. Want to take away the pass, they'll go up the run. But I think Texas isn't going to be able to stop the pass, and after that you're going to have to start forcing more people, spread it out. You're going to able to let Jalen Hurts run. You're going to let everyone. I don't care who they put at running back, they're going to be able to run against, I think, the team, especially in the second half they will. And I mean, Jalen Hurts right now in this system, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he has 499 yards rushing, 7 touchdowns rushing. So total, he has 21 touchdowns total and only 2 interceptions, and he's just a hair over 2,100 total yards. Think about that compared to what he was doing at Bama. This is a whole nother quarterback. This, I think, just shows Oklahoma's system right now. You put a quarterback in there, if they're even at least a little bit talented, they're going to blow him up into a big time college football player. I think Oklahoma will win the game. 1-score. Well, like you said, this is the rivalry always lives up that hype, which is what you want to see in these games.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll stay in the state of Texas, and we got Bama traveling to Texas A&M to face the Aggies. And you look at Texas A&M, their 2 losses. They were competitive at Clemson, and got a lot of praise for that, but Clemson hasn't played that. I mean, yes, they're undefeated, but hasn't played that well this year. You look at they did lose pretty big. They lost to Auburn at home, and the thing there is, you looked at Auburn against Florida, and Auburn looked absolutely terrible against Florida. So that's why I think Bama wins this by 2 or 3 scores. And I got Tua having a huge day, and Bama's defense having a good day too. And I got Bama winning this 45-21 over Texas A&M.
I think Texas A&M, because we saw last time we saw Alabama play against Ole Miss, that was a very competitive first half for most of that first half, and Alabama kind of broke it out late first half, early second half. They really pulled ahead against Ole Miss. I think it's going to kind of be the same thing here. Alabama was really banged up. They're missing their best defense player, Dylan Moses, for the rest of the year. They're banged up on the line. They're banged up everywhere. This is a Nick Saban team where defense is usually so dominant, but it really hasn't. And Texas A&M, there is a lot of hype surrounding them. This was, to me, I thought Texas A&M could really battle in the SEC West. They just don't have – they have some great players, but they don't have it great at all 22 positions, and that's the thing. In the SEC, especially in the SEC West, you got to have great 11 on both sides of the ball. They don't have that yet. They didn't play very well against Arkansas. I think Alabama really hasn't been able to run the ball. They're 64th in the country now in running. But there's 3 stud wide receivers. I think that's just what puts Alabama over the top of A&M. Kellen Mond, I thought he didn't take a big step this year. He hasn't really played to standards right yet. He hasn't played great against Auburn. He didn't play great against Texas A&M or against Clemson. If he wants to really take that next step and become a great quarterback and people will actually notice him, he's got to play well today or on Saturday. I think he will maybe in the first half, but second half I think Alabama pulls away 38-24.
Yeah, I have I had Bama winning by, I'll say by 21 points. Because right now, I mean, you're looking at Tua so far this year. He's having 1,718 yards passing, 23 touchdowns, no interceptions. Like I said, he has 3 just stud wide receivers. You have Henry Ruggs, who seems like every first play of the game is going for a 75-yard touchdown. He's right now giving you 361 yards, 4 touchdowns. You have Jared Judy, who's thought of a top pick in this upcoming draft. He's giving you 488 and 6 touchdowns. You have Devonta Smith, who's giving you has the most receiving yards and touchdowns of all 3 of those wide receivers with 537 yards and 8 touchdowns. So it's like pick your poison. You're not LSU. You're not DB University. You're not going to have all DBs to cover all these wide receivers. I think, like you said, you take 1, maybe 2 of them away, the other one's going to have big games. I think see a big game for Tua. I could see another 4 or 5 touchdown game, no interceptions, 350 to 400 yards for Tua.
Big Ten matchup in Madison at 3:30 as Michigan State, who has 2 losses and has struggled offensively, faces the Badgers of Wisconsin. And I think this is a closer game than people think. I think D'Antonio is going to keep his team in this game, but they're not going to score that much. And I'm going with Wisconsin in this game because Jonathan Taylor is really, really good. And I'm going to take Wisconsin. I'm going Wisconsin 24-13. I think Michigan State keeps it competitive for the first half, but I think Wisconsin pulls away in the second half. I'm going Wisconsin 24-13 over Michigan State.
Yeah, I get Wisconsin. 20-10. Wisconsin defensively right now, first in the country overall, first rushing, second against the pass. Michigan State offense really not being. Brian Lewerke's played better than he did last year. He's 11 touchdowns to 2 interceptions so far this year. What
about against good defenses, though? How has he played against good defenses?
Not great. He was not great against Ohio State. Look, he stunk last year even against some poor teams. I think Utah State.
And he's a senior, so you got to expect him to play bad against the poor teams.
Yeah, I get it, but he should be playing better though.
Yes, gotcha.
He has this year. Wisconsin defense so good. I think if you can make Jack Holm beat through the air, he really can't yet. Again, I thought Wisconsin maybe found their quarterback. They haven't yet. He's better than Alex Hornibrook, but he's not great. If you can slow down Jonathan Taylor, because now they turned him into a wide receiver too now. He never used to catch screen passes. Now they love sending him out there. He's became even more lethal. If you can slow down Jonathan Taylor, you have a chance. If you don't, and we saw what happened when they played Michigan. They could not stop Jonathan Taylor. And I think, close first half, and I think Jonathan Taylor wears them down the second half. I think Wisconsin controls the ball, and in the time possession, and I think that's how Wisconsin wins this game.
I think Wisconsin's going to win by about 17. I'd say I'll say a 27 to 10 victory for Wisconsin. I think you have one of the best players in all of college football right now with Taylor. I mean, you're giving 745 yards and 12 touchdowns from him. That guy is that's next level talent right now. And so far he's giving you 135 yards, 2 touchdowns, 102 yards, 3 touchdowns, 203, 2 touchdowns, 119, 1 touchdown, and then against Kent State, 186 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's just rushing the ball. And he also is giving you an extra 2 touchdowns through the air. So right now, excuse me, that guy's almost averaging 3 touchdowns by himself as a running back. I think he's just too good. Also, he's going to have a big time second half because Michigan State's just not going to be able to score against that Wisconsin defense, which is that's next level defense right now. And with that run game, it's ground and pound, great defense. They'll pull it out, they'll win the game by 17 points.
We got USC traveling Notre Dame in a rivalry game, and I think that Brian Kelly's defense shuts down USC. I think Ian Book has a good game, and I'm going Notre Dame by 2 scores. I got them winning it 31-17 over USC.
I get the average win this one 28-17, point for the Jewish lady. Again, USC's on their third-string quarterback. We all got to remember that. Matt Fink, who was in the transfer portal a year ago, or this spring actually, he was in the transfer portal, decided to stay at USC. They didn't play terrible, and he kind of struggled against Washington. USC's -7 in the turnover margin. They got to be much better than that because Notre Dame's, they're +10. Notre Dame played really well defensively in the second half against Virginia a couple weeks ago. Shut down Bowling Green, who's it's probably one of the worst teams in the FBS. But Saturday night, Ian Book's played well. Rivalry game. I see Notre Dame coming out, and this is, for Notre Dame, this is like, I know USC's not great, but you're still beating USC. They don't really have much on their schedule. They got to bye, and then they go to Ann Arbor. So this is our last kind of test before that they go to Ann Arbor in 2 weeks, which would be fun. And so Notre Dame really needs to play well this week. Get ready for that. Get rested. I think they come out at home Saturday night, get the win.
I have Notre Dame. I'll have them winning by about 15 points. I think it's because you're going to be able to mix in Tony Jones Jr., going to get that going early, and I think that's going to open up play action for Ian Book. I mean, right now USC's defense is giving them 175 yards on the dot rushing. Like, when you just give that up, to a teammate, and Brian Kelly, he's not dumb. Like, I think he knows, obviously, that's the weakness of defense. He's going to mix that in. You're just going to eventually, second half, you're just going to see. I think you're going to see kind of like a tale of two halves in terms of offense for Notre Dame. First half's going to be ground and pound, ground and pound, ground and pound. Second half, you're just going to see big-time play action plays. You can see probably 3-4 big-time explosive pass plays from Notre Dame, and I think ultimately they'll win the game by about 15 to 16 points.
Got a big one Saturday night. My Penn State Navy Lions travel to a place where they have problems. They go to Kinnick Stadium in Iowa. Iowa, who lost last week to Michigan 10-3. I think this is another really, really low-scoring game. I don't think Sean Clifford's going to play that well on the road. I think it's going to be a really low, and I think the Penn State defense. This is the best defense since James Franklin has taken over as the head coach. I think this is the best defense since the Joe Paterno days for Penn State. I mean, this defense is really good. They get pressure on the quarterback. They got a great linebacker in Micah Parsons, and I think this is a close, competitive, low-scoring game. But just like last week, I got the Hawkeyes losing a really competitive, low-scoring game. I got Penn State winning 17-13 at Iowa this week.
They do have some problems in Iowa, but I got them winning 21-14. Penn State, actually, you know this, Steve? They haven't lost to a Big Ten West team since 2015. Do you remember who that was?
I'm trying to think who that was. Oh, was it Wisconsin?
Northwestern.
Gotcha.
I think it was a home game too.
Yeah, I think it might have been. Yeah.
So that was late in the year. That was when they were 7-6. Both these defenses have been so great. Penn State's only been allowing 7 points a game. Iowa only 8. It's crazy. And both teams have played 5 games. Nate Stanley, I thought last week I was praising him for usually is very good at managing the game well. He threw 3 picks, 5. He got sacked 8 times. I think
Strugglesville.
Yeah, it was. So again, wasn't a great week for him. I think he's gonna struggle again. I think Iowa's line's gonna really struggle. Penn State has 26 sacks already through 5 games. I think they get pressure on Nate Stanley. I think they won 21-14. I think Sean Clifford didn't struggle, but I think they do enough offensively, and I think they go to Iowa and get the win.
I have Penn State winning this 16-10. I think if you like defense, this is the game for you. So personally, it's not going to be my game because I like offense. But if you like defense, I mean, like you said, Penn State's giving up 7.4 points. Iowa is giving up 8.8 points per game. Right now, I just think the difference is Penn State's offense is just better. They're gaining just a hair under 500 yards per game. On defense, both teams are relatively even. Penn State's giving up a little bit more passing yards per game. Iowa. Geez, I keep saying Ohio State. Iowa gives up a little bit more of rushing yards than Penn State. I think ultimately the better offense is going to win the game. Penn State will win this game by 6. Low scoring game, but I think we're seeing a lot of field goals.
Last game we'll talk about is the game of the night as Florida heads to Baton Rouge to face the LSU Tigers. And I think that Joe Burrow Florida's defense is really good, but I think Joe Burrow's been playing really well. I think Florida's offense struggles a lot in this game. I think LSU's defense controls this game. And I like LSU winning this game by a couple scores. I like LSU winning 27-10 over Florida.
I get tired of winning this one 28-17. Last year, as we know, Florida is great against the blitz. Last week, I saw this on Friday. Bo Nix going into the game, his QBR was a 5 when he was getting blitz and under pressure. We saw what that happened last week as that probably went down, as they made Bo Nix make a lot of mistakes.
That was ugly.
That was. Joe Burrow last year against the Gators with 19 for 34, 192 yards, 2 interceptions, sacked 5 times. Florida has to get pressure on them. If they have any shot in this game, you have to get pressure. You're gonna have to sack them 5, 6, 7 times to have a chance in this game. LSU defense has been they played Jordan Love, who I don't know if you two heard, but could potentially be a first-round pick this year. They made him absolutely look like silly the first time he was kind of national TV. Scouts were there. They made him look like a JV quarterback. So Joe Burrow has been so good this year. They're scoring 54 points per game. This is the best defense they're going to play till maybe Alabama. I think, but Florida's defense is the best defense in the SEC, probably one of the top in the country. Kyle Track's a great story. First couple starts in 7 years, was a high school backup, only scholarships were on Houston Baptist, Magnesia State. Florida has 417 turnovers. They've given away 13 times. So if they have any shot, they haven't been able to run the ball. They got to run the ball, keep away from Joe Burrow. I don't think they'll be able to do that. I think it's a close first half, but I think Florida's D wears down. And especially going to Death Valley on a Saturday night, nobody goes in there and dominates besides Alabama. And I think LSU gets a win. Yeah,
I have LSU winning. I think we could see a last-second drive from LSU. I think they'll win by 7. I think it's because Florida's defense it plays fast. You saw what they did to Auburn. I mean, they won 24-13 against Auburn. I mean, that was just an ugly game for Auburn. I think defense just played big. Right now, LSU, I feel like they were always known for having great defense, especially great DBs, great running backs, and always having terrible quarterbacks, even though they always had receivers there at LSU to level Jarvis Landry, Odell, but never had a quarterback. Right now, they're averaging 416 yards passing. That is not LSU football. When you think, when you say LSU football, you think great DBs, great running backs. Right now, it is it's passing yards all day, every day. Burrows right now is just putting up ridiculous numbers: 22 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 1,864 yards passing. I mean, I think it's just otherworldly. Like you said, you go to Death Valley, that is insanely loud. That may be one of the loudest stadiums you'll hear, period. Pros, no matter what sport, college, no matter what sport. And it's a primetime game. That's going to be loud. And I think ultimately that's going to give the victory to LSU.
That's going to wrap it up for Sports Talk with RKJ this week. For my co-host Justin D'Onofrio and Kyle Galuli, I'm Steve Risser. We apologize. We had a little bit of issues with the Facebook Live today. We'll try to get that. I'll try to get that. I'll try to get those issues ironed out next week. But we'll be back next week talking the ALCS and the NLCS, week 7 of the NFL season and week 8 of the college football season. Have a great weekend, everybody.